Good morning, everybody. This is Grace, and I am here to do a video about basically anxiety, um, personal boundaries, and the kind of people that I like to call the all about me types. And I know there are other names for them, narcissists, some would call them narcissists, toxic people, abusers, borderlines, people who fall under psychopathy or sociopathy, and so many other things, but I just call them the all about me types, and I'm not talking about me. I actually, an example is, I worked with a woman in Cubeville years ago, and she actually stood up and she said that one of her friends said that, she's the type of person that says, here I am, and here's the world revolving around me. We all laughed because we knew it was true, and it was very true of her. And this is the type I want to talk about. They think that everything is about them. Each one of them thinks it's mine. The world revolves around me. And everybody also in the world is their little mini me. Mini me was something that I've been saying since as far back as I can remember. It wasn't just, I didn't learn it from that movie, but I think other people were saying it too. Because that is how I felt. And I had mentioned that, this is from my experience, my opinions. I'm not a healthcare professional or provider, so don't take it as counseling advice. Read the description box here on YouTube underneath this video. Anyway, but my experiences with them is that they, the all about me types, is that everybody is their little mini me, and there are no such things as personal boundaries to them. Nobody else is supposed to, because after all, to them, you're just an extension of them. You're an extension of them. So why would there be boundaries in their minds? And this leads to, for me to, when I was much younger, to a lot of anxiety. And I'll be right back and discuss. Okay, before I go on, I'll give a little fictional scene here. Say you got a job and it took you a long while to get this job, and you searched for it and you finally found the job, dream job, kind of thing, and you really need to work. You need money, so you go to this job, and you're hired by your direct manager, and let's say it's a male. He seems fine. He seems great, and maybe that's the first clue. Because on any kind of job, there's going to be different things. But anyway, you start working and everything's fine. You work in Cubeville and all, and before too long, though, you know your job description because you've worked in this field. You know what your job description was, that you read it. Of course, these days they'll add something like other duties as assigned, like they can just throw anything on you. But you know what your job is, and you do your job and everything. But eventually, the boss comes to you and says, I need you to work on this. And you look at it and you think, this is not my job or my job. This is his. And you're sitting in a situation, you're saying, well, okay, I can do that, but what about my own job? And you might even say it and say, oh, you'll have time or something. So you do whatever needs to be done because he's saying that, oh, it has to be done today and needs to be finished and all this kind of stuff, or today or tomorrow, whenever is the limit. So you work on it and you get it done, and it seems like everything should be fine. But instead, the boss says, well, where is your work? Why haven't you completed it? And you say, well, because I was working on yours. No, you should have had time. This was not that big. You should have. And all the while, this was actually his job. So you're in a catch-22 kind of situation all around, really. No matter what you do, if you did your own job or if you did his job, no matter what, it was going to be a bad situation. And that turns out to be how it is there. And you get to know people, and they say this is how it goes. He's always going to put his job, his work on somebody else. And that is the kind of person is all about me. And he sees, they generally don't do what they need to do. And in my experience, they don't need to, they just don't do their own work, what they need to do for themselves. They put it on somebody else. And then, someone would call it projection, saying you're not doing your job, you're not keeping up, you're this, when it's actually them. And catch-22, what are you going to do? In everybody's situation, I'm thoroughly believing that one size does not fit all. So everybody's situation, what would they do? It's up to them. It just depends on the situation. I mean, if you really need a job and all that kind of stuff, yeah, it puts you in a position where it could cause you a lot of anxiety. And that's what my experience has been in the past. I really haven't had too much problem with bosses because I always did my job and I always made money for them. So that wasn't a problem for me, and they usually didn't try to put their work on me. But I've seen them do it, to other people. And I'm not saying all bosses are narcissists or all about me types, but this I'm talking about these kind. Anyway, so that's kind of like a fictional scene where I think a lot of people can relate to. Okay, I did another part of a clip, and one of my dogs walked in, and there was just a flash of light practically blinded me. And yeah, the other one started whining, and so I'm not sure where I left off. But anyway, one of the things, the reasons I use an example like that is because in life, and when you're around this type, all about me type, my experience is they will try in some way to make it as though they are your boss, because to them you are just an extension of them, and they're telling themselves, their mini me, which they feel is part of themselves, what to do and what needs to be done. And it doesn't have to be your boss, your actual boss, your manager, supervisor, whatever. It can be somebody just in your life. It can be a friend, a parent or parents. It can be plural, siblings, aunts, uncles, whomever that does this, and you can get so wrapped up because you might be a caring person, and these people, excuse me, I put lipstick on my cough, but this type, they're always having some kind of tragedy, drama, calamity. Oh my, it has to be taken care of now. And as a caring person, you might say, well, I'm going to help them. But there's a danger in that because you're always helping. They will always have something going on. It will always be more important. And there's the problem. To them, whatever is about them is most important. And now you, as a healthy person, you draw your boundaries. You say, this is my life. Here's my line. You don't cross it. I have this, my own goals, my own dreams, all of that, my own aspirations, whatever. But them, they just say, no, you're an extension of me. This is, they're not saying it, maybe, but usually not saying it, but they feel it. And so they will somehow, in some way, cause you not to be able to do what you need to do for yourself. It's got to be about them. It needs to be about them. It depends on, how bad they are, but my experiences, they don't really think. They're the ones that do not think it's too much about them. They don't think about anybody else. They don't, maybe something really bad happens and they say, oh, well, yeah, okay, like that. But usually it's all about them. And anyway, back to the boss. And I have said this before. I am a homemaker. I do not have a boss. And I don't have a schedule. I don't have to do something by this time or that time. But when you have this, like I did, you might, like I said, this is just kind of a generalization, and I'm really talking to myself because I'm looking at myself on the screen. But when you have when I grew up with this and I saw this so much, it was so much that, in a way, I was so, I was the helpful person, and my mind felt, some might call this codependent, but I wouldn't, that my mind thought that if I help others, it works out. It helps, you help them, they help you. It's, give and take. A healthy mind thinks this way, even, that, it's give and take in life. And, we're all interconnected. We're all, needed for the world to go on. But that's not true for this all about me type. To them, it is only what they need. Each one thinks that everything is about them. And that leads them to this, this kind of bossy attitude. And, and the person who actually has dreams and says, well, wait a minute, I'm spending all my time doing everything for this one person and I'm not getting anything back. But that same person that's, you're spending all your time, you don't have time to do things for yourself. That same person thinks that I'm giving you everything. They will do that. I'm giving you everything, so therefore you owe me all this. You owe me. Yeah, I have heard that to so many times in my lifetime that they think that somebody owes them, because in fact to them, the world owes them everything. I was raised to believe the world doesn't owe you anything. And once you're 18, the world doesn't owe you anything. Your parents don't even owe you anything. We all know that they don't owe you, but it's good that they give to you, you know, the love and affection and these kinds of things. But with these people, you owe them. You owe them everything, everything. And what will that bring about? You know, then a lot of people, it's going to bring about anxiety because they're in this thing. I want to help other people. I believe a healthy type of world is people give and take, and they, you know, evenly, equally, you know, something that it's a give and take there. And this person's demanding all my time. I can't get my things done, you know, and it brings about all the stress, the tension, the anxiety, even panic attacks, or, you know, it could agoraphobia. Some people call it agoraphobia. So many different things it could bring about. And I meant to say this earlier. The thing I learned is to be able to tell myself that it's not my circus, not my monkeys, not feel bad about it, because they're really good at making you feel shame, guilt, all these things, because you're not doing what you the type of person you say you are. You know, this kind of thing. And it's to say this is their problem, not my problem. It's their problem, and it's something I have to repeat constantly with myself. Whenever I'm around this type or have anything, you know, on jobs, I would see it so much, you know, because people didn't want to do their jobs. They think, oh, I can get somebody else to do it. No. Anyway, I think I've covered everything. I had it written down, but you know, the whole thing of people saying, you know, this type saying that you're wanting to be your boss because you're an extension of them to them, and that you know, you owe it to them. You owe it to them because they're doing everything in the world for you. You know, that's the twisted way, you know, and if they can twist your mind into believing it, and, you know, that's the way you're supposed to be, you know, because it's who you are, you know, it's sad. Anyway, this has gotten long, and my grumbling Gus, my dog, the dog at the co-store, he's starting to grumble. He says I'm going on too long. Yeah. But anyway, that's another topic for another day, is what they say about people who are empaths or highly sensitive people. I'm going to do a video on another one. I've done one. I'm going to do another one. Anyway, I'll talk to y'all later.